Okay, episode 13, Kick the Can podcast. Real excited today. Went to a barbecue yesterday down in the Bronx. I got a full report for everybody. So much fun. So many characters there. What a great day. I laughed and smiled the whole day. You know, my cheeks felt like they were pinned up to my eyeballs. A real good time. Before I get into that, I wanted to just follow up a little bit on the 8th grade Washington trip, about what brothers were there. And I like when people comment, or they thought it was this, or they thought it was that guy. So we're going to post a picture from you Mount Carmel guys will remember that we got this book with our diploma in it with all the faculty and I think it's all the kids in your class, not the whole 8th grade boys. So I'm putting that up, and I still think it was Brother Chester and Brother Joseph Lacasio. And I think there were two other Brother Josephs. Or there were two Brother Josephs, so there might have been some confusion there. But I remember it as those two guys. And one of the listeners is going to reach out to Brother Joseph Lacasio. Apparently, stayed friendly with the family or something like that. Just one of those great Mount Carmel neighborhood stories where, you know, somebody would stay friends with one of the teachers, you know, for over 50 years. So I'm going to put the picture up and give me the feedback. Anybody wants the feedback. I really enjoy listening to people and connecting and going back and forth. Also for tonight's podcast, as I go through all my pictures, I always find something that's either got a story or a really good memory of an event. And tonight I'm putting up a picture. It's Larry Samili, myself, and Louis Petroni. And the picture's self-explanatory. We're a little roughed up. Either we're a little banged up, and then we got banged up at the diner. So it was a clear case of, being a wise guy and, getting called out on it. I think it was Easter Sunday night, maybe 74, like that. So maybe we were like 20, maybe 75. So we were out, we were in New Rochelle somewhere, and we wound up at the New Rochelle Diner, Thruway Diner, for you guys can remember that. And so we're in there, and there was, a couple of booths over. There was a guy sitting there. I think he was with a girl, and things get said, looks get thrown. Before you know, we're going outside, and we were a large group, like 4 or 5 guys, and then this other guy by himself. But he was a stocky guy. He was a 98-pound weakling. So we go outside, and things start to engage, pushing and shoving. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, these other guys just come out from the diner. They look like football players. The true definition of good Samaritans. And what was good about these guys, all they brought were their fists. No bats, no guns, no knives. So they proceeded to tune us up, and it was an ego bruiser. One guy, I think Larry, around the building, there's these little areaways where you drop down. There's like a window there. Larry fell down in there, and his face was eye level to the guy's fists, and the guy just kept pummeling him in the face. And then after we realized there was nothing going to happen here, the Good Samaritans, took a bow and went on their way. But I always remember, I call it the night of the Good Samaritans. And as we headed back to the neighborhood, I don't know how that picture got taken, but it was in the, everybody had a club. We had a club across from St. Barnabas. But this club here where the picture was taken was a little bit further down on Crescent Avenue. I think it was the club of Paulie Bear and Eddie Boots and those guys. I think they had a club a few blocks from our club. And we wound up there, and somebody took a picture, and the picture made it to us all these years later. That was one of my favorite nights. Get a little tune-up with your buddies, and it makes a story for life, really. If anybody remembers anything about that night, also, any of the guys from Paulie Bear's club, because a lot of people are starting to find out about the podcast now, and they reaching out for me, and they're telling I told this person, and I'm going to listen. All kinds of people, people that know of the neighborhood, people that are from the neighborhood, So it's really, really a lot of fun. And I really want to thank everybody that goes and recommends me and the podcast to somebody that I don't have access to, but they do. It's really helping, the word's getting out, and we're getting up to, what do we have, like 20 listeners now? More? Yeah, we got more, Matt says. No, it's doing good. We're well over 100. And every day somebody contacts me. And, not everybody's user-friendly with podcasting, but they get their kids to, get it going on their phones. All kinds of stories about how people are getting access to the podcast. So it's a lot of fun. I'm glad everybody's enjoying it. So yesterday, Wednesday afternoon, I had heard about this barbecue down in Country Club from last summer. It's like a Wednesday afternoon thing. All guys, they're retired. A lot of them live in Country Club, so they would walk over to this guy's house, and they would eat. Mostly, it's always all about eating, but there's beers, wine flowing around, I guess. But yesterday was a big party, like end of summer, and I had heard about it last year, and I heard about it again this year. So I called Eddie Boots, Eddie Izzetti, and I said, Eddie, can you get me into this barbecue? First of all, I love seeing everybody from the old days, and I want to talk up the podcast, to see some folks and talk it up, and then catch up with people. Who's this? How many grandchildren do you have? All the good stuff, So when I called Eddie 2 weeks ago, it happened to be on a Wednesday, and Eddie was there. And he asked the guy that throws the party is Buckwheat, one of the great nicknames from the neighborhood, Joe Silvestri. And I even forgot, I'm calling this guy Buckwheat, not that I see him every day, but I remember his last name, but I could not for the life of me remember his first name. But Eddie said, hey, Paulie Pets wants to come to the barbecue. And Buckwheat says, sure, bring him down. So he gave me the address, and Last Wednesday was a rain out, postponed till yesterday. And there had to be 50 to 60 people there. All age groups. Buckwheat is a little bit older than me. A little bit younger than me. A lot of guys my age, some older. Food nonstop. Caterers, waitresses, bartender, DJ, a singer, a sax player. Unbelievable time. Unbelievable. Buckwheat shouted out. He acknowledges people's birthdays. He had birthday cakes for the people that just had a birthday, maybe yesterday, a couple of days ago, last week. He acknowledged everybody's birthday. And it just was nonstop conversation and laughing and talking about different things. And, with everybody with the phones, a lot of people had some great pictures of different things that I was real impressed. So some of the people I wrote everybody's name down that I knew. First, I want to shout out first to Larry Orzo and Stephen Bennett. They were in my Mount Carmel class, 1968. Right off the bat, those guys really, when you graduate 8th grade with somebody and then you still bump into them, it was good to see those guys. And Larry Orzo, naturally his brother's Perry, so he was there. And everybody's, hey, how's this guy? How's that guy? Actually, Eddie Boots, Eddie Izzetti, his fiance. Congratulations to Eddie. Just got engaged, so good luck to him. Quite the character. Eddie is the best. Mount St. Michael guy with me, a little bit younger. Dom the fireman. Chink. They call him Jamie, but I still know him as Chink. Richie Saccone, Richie Mastro. Eddie Boots' brother Larry, Vito Pastry, and Allie showed up. Anthony Falco and his wife Liz, 47 years married. Wow, he has some great pictures too on his phone. Carlo, one of the Bathgate Avenue guys from originally, and of course, and Anthony Minetti. I tell you, this guy, he not only he knows everybody's name, he remembers everything. I probably haven't seen him in 50 years, 45, 50 years. And of course, our host Buckwheat, just a fabulous day. Can't ask for, I wanted to go, and then I was so happy to be there. And, sharing stories. There was a couple of pictures. Anthony Falco had a picture of a group of guys. They were doing some kind of protest. If you remember, something happened with the New York City bus. I think it was the 3 bus that went down 187. Something with either people getting off the bus and jumping people or mugging people, or I always thought, the 1 or 2 times I remember people throwing rocks and bottles at the bus from the street. So it was a back and forth. But I think when they decided to move the bus from 187 to Fordham Road, it really fucked everybody in the neighborhood, because now they had to walk to Fordham Road to catch the bus. So that was kind of those, that was like a bad outcome to just a silly little thing. And to reference also that bus incident, it was, I think in the Bronx Tale, the Robert De Niro character drives the bus, and I think he supposedly drives the bus down 187th Street, but they don't really reference too much, anything like rioting or sculling the bus or anything like that. The Bronx Tale part of it, it is made for a movie. In reality, these kids, they drew up some signs. I couldn't see what they said, but bottom line is that the bus never came back to 187th. It sort of went by its way, I had a chance to chat with Richie Mastro. He lived on the next block on Hoffman Street, and he knew all the stories, and the Augustinellis, the Gary Lab, they all lived on that block with the Mastros, and Richie had a big family. His brother Joey was he had a grocery store on the corner there, and he was famously one of the umpires for the softball league. So, Joey had to hold his own because he always got a lot of lip from everybody, but it was all in fun. It was, there was nothing. It was all part of it. Balls and strikes, yelling at the umpire, and Joey was a good guy. I felt like I know him. He was very close friends with Butch, and then with the softball, you always saw him. And then he had the store. He passed away young. He had something colitis. Richie was telling me, and it was hard at the end. If you remember Joe BB Eyes, he was always skinny and frail looking. But he still had a sharp tongue, and he was quite the ball breaker. As you remember, everybody knew him. From softball and the store. And I had a chance a little bit to talk to Anthony Minetti, and he remembered the Fordham Bears, the softball league. So many different people he remembered. He remembered the Labriolas, and Ronnie married Marianne. He knew the older brother. It's those kind of conversations that kick around. It really was a fun afternoon. And I sort of invited myself. When I wanted to go, I knew it was going to be sort of like that, and it was better than I thought to see some of these guys. And I talked up the podcast a little bit. I'm hoping some folks will, try to give it a listen. And Buckwheat was, forget about the soup to nuts with the food and all of that. It was a touching moment that he reflected on his property. He had a couple of trees planted in memory of a couple of people, and one of the people he dedicated his tree to. One of the trees was Vinny Tachi, and another guy passed away at a young age. I think it's a couple of years now. And Buckwheat is in the carpet business, and I think Vinny was also a carpet installer or something. I sort of lose track, but I think they were in the carpet business. But it was so touching that Buckwheat would, dedicate a tree on his property to a couple of friends of his. And when you mention it, and when he mentioned it, it was you're not ready for something like that. It was really really nice, and it shows you. Even the Buckwheat is quite the ball buster. There's a really nice side to him. Just to have this party, and to see everybody getting together on a social scene instead of at somebody's wake. That's what he pointed out. Let's get together while we're alive and, catch up and see what's going on. It was a great afternoon. And it was a beautiful day. It was great. So I wanted to thank Buckwheat again here. I don't know if he listens, but hopefully some of the guys that were at the party yesterday will start listening to the podcast. And so in honor of Buckwheat, today we're sponsored by Silvestri Commercial Flooring Specialist, Joseph Silvestri, proprietor. So for all your carpeting needs, get in touch with Buckwheat. Carpets by Buckwheat, flooring by Buckwheat, tile by Buckwheat. Quite the character, and the way he runs the party, I could see he runs his job sites the same way. He's getting it done, no doubt about it. I wanted to just one more thing before I wrap it up. We're going to put a link up on the Facebook page for the Tunnel to Towers fundraiser. Everybody has to be aware of that fundraiser. My son Matt and my wife Delinda will be. They're going to walk. It's a 5K. They're going to walk it. So if you want to help them out with a few things, it's a great cause. I won't be running or walking. I'll watch. But they did it once before, and the rousing reception that they get when they come out of that tunnel with all the cops, firemen, military guys. They didn't do it last year because it was a pouring, rainy day. But they're doing it this year. And then I think after we'll go for lunch or maybe a drink or two, we'll mosey over to, I think San Gennaro Feast is still happening on Mulberry. We'll stroll over there just because it's a happening thing, and we'll wrap up the day like that. I wonder... Oh, yeah, one more thing. I think Matt and I are going to be going to Ferragusto next Sunday. We're going to bring a video camera. I'm going to be looking for people to talk to, hopefully some of the podcast listeners. If you want to just leave a comment on any of the platforms that you might be there. It's really a shit show, and it's so crowded. I can't even say I'll be standing on this corner or in front of Dominic's or in front of here. It's going to be, I don't know. Maybe, Matt, when we get there, if we find a spot, we can post it right up on the page. And I don't know. We're to be honest with you guys, we're winging it. But if I can see one or two people, boy, if I can find somebody to chat with, the Mount Carmel, from my grade in Mount Carmel, or somebody from Butchie's, a hanger-outer, I think it'll make a good episode for Kick the Can also. So I'll leave it at that. Episode 13? Okay. Episode 13, Kick the Can podcast. You know where to find us. It's Spotify, YouTube, Facebook, and Apple Podcasts. So that's it. Thanks, everybody. Talk to you in a couple of weeks.